person I can lean on me is my lady and my kid. You heard?
I hear that. So what you think about this coronavirus? You think it's man-made? You think it's a real virus that probably got amped up a little bit? You think do you think somehow, some way black people are being targeted by this coronavirus? Because one minute it seemed like it was just body and nothing but white people, black people started saying, nigga, I can't even get that. And then the tides turned once we got comfortable, and then it looked like the coronavirus leaning in on us. That's who's doing the leaning right now. The coronavirus doing the leaning.
Heavy
So
leaning.
what you thinking? Do you think they telling us everything they need to tell us about it, or do you think it's some foul place somewhere in between? We know the virus is real. We know people getting bodied by it.
Uh-huh.
So that's not even a question. We
Right.
just say, do you think something else is going on that they're not disclosing, somehow impacting us more specifically?
I do believe is a bigger agenda that we know nothing about. Like usual, everything impacts us specifically because we are at the bottom. Everything falls from the top and hits the bottom harder than anything. And I don't know if it's a black thing, but there's a lot of different people at the bottom that's going to get affected way more than everybody at the top or in the middle. And one thing it is us being ignorant and not understanding what is going on. I ain't got no real conspiracy theories. I mean, I could pick so many people's conspiracy theories apart, but I mean, for me, I'm just trying to read in between the lines. I mean, I don't know if they're keeping us in the house for some other agendas, but I know right now going outside ain't the best thing to do. I know right now fraternizing and mixing and mingling ain't the best thing to do. People are dying, so the best thing to do is stay in the house. But it seems that so many people are anxious to go outside. We're gonna learn a valuable lesson about not listening. You know what I mean? Like, if we're
Yeah,
gonna be here, we need to stay inside. Like I see they're about to open up different states, and one of the states that they're gonna open up is Atlanta. And I know Atlanta is a heavy black populated town. You know what I mean? It's like super black down there, and these are one of the first towns that they would like to open up because they know black people like to jump outside, go spend that money,
right.
go spend that stimulus check, try to get to the beauty parlor, try to get to the nail salon, open up the strip joint, try to get it back lit. Open up the hookah joint. Niggas want to open up the restaurant. Niggas want to get back a little bag, get back to getting the bag. Everybody panicking. When shit, the best thing you can do is just stay your ass in the house if you wanna fuck with these niggas' minds, man. Everybody stay in the house. If you do got a small business, don't let that shit open up. You dig?
Yeah,
Grown men are way smarter than they think we are. I
it
mean,
kind of make you say, we let the white folks go out first, and let's see if they drop, and we'll follow behind you this time around. It's kind of like a setup. Like, you pick the biggest black populace, knowing that this shit targets black people. So you say, hey, y'all gonna open up shop first. So that's pretty interesting. But the numbers are definitely inflated because the CDC, or the Center for Disease Control, definitely uh, gave suggestive criteria to people who have to fill out the death certificates to presume the death is from coronavirus if they think it may have been on account of coronavirus. So then that inflates the numbers. And once you have numbers being inflated on death certificates,
it's definitely a scare tactic to keep people inside, right? So here's the contradiction. The
real
government is telling you to stay inside. It's crazy outside. But then you got some governors that want to oppose what the government is telling us and say, "No, I'm gonna open up my state because I can." I want to see people back functioning. I want to see the money back running. I want to see what's going on if we all on one side. Why are we getting these little oppositions to what the quote unquote government is saying from
and
in
I'm
the
a,
government?
and I'm gonna say this too: I just look at things different set of eyes, and y'all can tell me if I'm tripping. But whenever the government puts out some more updates about the coronavirus, I don't see one motherfucker wearing a mask. They don't look like they 6 feet apart. You know what I'm saying? Everybody do their press conference, down to the person doing the sign language, down to the person doing the translating, down to the person who's on the mic, all the security, the news reporters. every time I watch on TV, when they give us a coronavirus update, I'm like, them motherfuckers must be immune to the virus because they don't got no gloves, they ain't got no mask on, but they giving the edict or giving the decree for everybody else to follow those mandates. And I'm just wondering, how come people in government ain't getting this shit or afraid to get it because they not practicing social distancing on the damn TV. They mad close and hugged up amongst each other. So the next time y'all watch TV, look and see how much space they are apart. Look and see if someone got a mask on. Just one in the audience. Check and see if you see just one motherfucker with a mask on. And then ask yourself, how come they not as scared as they telling everybody else to be afraid?
Okay, so then why they inflate the numbers then? What they inflate the numbers for? What they want us to stay in the house for?
See, that's a very good question. Now, I can only speculate, and I don't mind speculating because that shit keeps my wheels spinning in my head. You know what I'm saying? So no one can get the drop on me when they do attempt to pull a fast one. So I would speculate that the new technology that they got to put up, the 4 to 5G, I would speculate that they got to set up all them towers and it will hold up traffic and it would have everyone's curiosity. And more people talk about it now. But if we didn't have to be on curfews in many states, if we didn't have to shut everything down, more people would be looking and saying, what the hell is all this? But since most of us got to be in the crib, they can set all that shit up and nobody's the wiser for the most part, but the people who doing some extra research or having to build about it. So that'd be one speculative element that I would put out there. You know,
So
that they building an infrastructure.
So okay, they shut all the schools down, right? All of them.
Yeah.
For the rest of the year, right? So I'm feeling like they might open back up the schools, and for the kids to go back to school, they might try to force them to take a vaccine in order to be able to go to school and get their education.
You talking some shit right there. You talking some shit right there.
I don't know. Then they got these little microchips that some companies are actually having their employees put it in their skin, and whatever that is for, you know what that's for. So, and it's real small, so who knows what the vaccine might be. It's just a lot. There's just a lot, but I'm gonna shut up. I don't really like to get too crazy because I ain't no conspiracy theorist. I'm just trying to count my ducats and not catch COVID.
You talking that shit though? I ain't heard nothing that sounds stupid. I mean, the only stupid thing a person could do right now is not think. That's the only stupid thing a person could do is just accept everything coming their way without employing some critical thinking. So that shit's real talk. They probably gonna put an RFID chip inside the vaccine, put it in there. They already set up the new technology. Boom, we connected to that motherfucker. Hey, you think they be putting out movies for no reason? How many times have we seen movies and cartoons reveal the fucking future? Then we go back in time and say, yo, you saw that on The Simpsons? Or you go back in time and you be like, yo, you saw Enemy of the State. You think they make this shit up?
Bro, there's no more toll workers. There's no more toll workers. Gone during the pandemic. It's a wrap. They ain't coming back.
Yo, I don't think so. Why would you hire them? We learned to live without them.
They not coming back. They just zapped thousands of jobs quickly.
And they got the excuse to do it. If they would have massively laid everyone off, the jug would have been up. Everybody would have saw a apparent jug being pulled. But now, because of the corona shit, they transition us into a new world without us even realizing. So when we go back, things will never be the same, but we'll understand it's not the same because it was the virus. It wasn't because of us. It's because of the virus. So the next thing you know, we in a whole new fucking world. And we learn how to be obedient. We learn how to be up in the crib and fall back. You know what I'm saying? We learn how to have a curfew as grown-ass adults. So now we conforming to this new construct. Then there's the new jobs, and then there's the old jobs that we'll never see again. It's interesting, you know what I mean? That it has its advantages if someone's scheming. That's what I will say. You know, this situation got its advantages if a nigga is scheming on society. And that's just a fact. We don't know how much of it is true, but I very much doubt everything that we speculated upon just now can all be false. I very much doubt it. You know what I'm saying? Because It's just logical. And like I said, they're inflating the numbers on purpose. Did you know if you already took a flu shot in your life, that if they test you for COVID-19, you automatically going to test positive?
Because you got the virus in your system already.
You feel what I'm saying? So boom, now you got all these numbers of people that had it and all these people that died, even though you can speculate if the cause of death was it, even if you're wrong. The combination of all those numbers is going to warrant a mandatory vaccination. And then once you put that mandatory vaccination out, based on inflated numbers, what can people say? They're going to say, yo, these, and this is another thing, fam. If we look up, this is some real shit. You see, people, we could call it speculation, but
Yeah,
this is, I'm not even gonna,
all right. So, all right. Let me ask you
I'm not
this.
even gonna hold niggas. I'm about to
Nigga,
just be direct with this shit.
it's still countries at war, right?
Facts.
They not social distancing with a rocket launcher.
They not. Niggas ain't out there with tanks and masks.
We don't hear they don't give us no reports about
Soldiers.
how those hospitals are looking and all that type of shit. It's soldiers over there, right? Thousands and thousands of soldiers over there, right?
That's a fact. That's a true story.
We didn't hear no soldiers, bunch of soldiers got it and nothing like that, right? Like it's just so much to think about, my brother. Like it's a big world and the whole world stopped. It's a big world and the whole world, or they want us to believe that the whole world stopped.
That's a fact. When they got this whole shit going. Like I said, when I watch the press conferences, I don't be seeing nobody with a mask the whole press conference. Somebody forgot that part of the script. Like, yo, when you go out there and you scare the American people, you gotta look just as scared as those niggas too. When the last time you seen Trump with a mask on and gloves? Don't you think you don't want your leader to be sick? You know what I'm saying? Like,
bro, you know they testing everybody in that building with the president coming to been tested and blessed and few people to get fired or why, of course. Process of elimination, bro. It's inevitable. They gonna make sure people like that are protected by all means. You know that. I just hope that we get out of this and be able to get back halfway to what we knew as society before. I mean, for a lot of people, occupations are going to change. The job you had before this might not be the job that you have after this. For a lot of entertainers, a lot of the ways that we get our money is going to change. So if you're not a thinker or a smart person, you're going to end up drowning yourself out here. You know what I mean? We live in excess just so that we could get the next check. We always got to make it look good. If you don't look like money, they ain't going to give you no money. You know what I mean? And that's always been a rapper's attitude. And I know there's a lot of artists right now that probably ready to shoot themselves in the head from all the excesses that they have that probably getting ready to drown them, because at some point you ain't going to be able to pay for all that shit that you thought you was going to be able to pay for, because every month you was making so much money, and now
took it for granted.
3 months dry, no back ends, no shows, no nothing. That's how quick shit could collapse, man. And you got other places like, so it's just so much. So when we do get back, you got car dealerships. Ain't nobody going to the car dealership. Everybody wasn't making no money this now. How the fuck we going there? There's just so much shit that's about to just change and look different, because niggas got to get back to making money. How's society going to run with so many places got to shut down, so many small businesses got to shut down? Then there's going to be a rush for jobs, and that's when the recession is going to hit, because it ain't going to be enough jobs. And then now all the bills got to get paid, because the 3 months or the 4 months that they said that they're going to give us all for not letting these bills get paid and shit like that, that's up. That's up. Now PSNG want their money, TNT want their money, mortgages want their money, car notes want their money. They want their money. You dig, man? And now you fresh out of a pandemic. You don't have a job. You don't know which way to go. You dig? What unemployment? That should, you get half of your salary. That means you're gonna be able to pay half of your bills. It's gonna be a lot of wicked shit going on out here. That I hope that everybody can hold fast in this out there.
Even when you look at the forbearance that they giving the homeowners for 3 or 6 months, that's still a 3 or 6 months that you still got to pay anyway. It's just they give you the time off now.
Yeah, they're going to put that on the back end. They want that.
You still got to pay.
That's 6 extra months you got to pay.
Then the lenders are so uncomfortable because they like, yo, hold on. You telling the American community they ain't got to pay us for 6 months. then you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make it harder for people to get properties. And now, so like where you could have got a property for with a 580 credit score, 640 is the new 580 because they saying we can't trust motherfuckers with low scores like that and lend them X amount of money, even though we know we jugging them anyway with this debt because we giving them debt that we believe they can't afford. So we could, when they default, we could turn around, get the property again and put it on somebody else because that's what they do. That's what the subprime crisis was about. It was about doing enough analytics to understand your background, your level of education, the errors that you made economically, your mother, your father, your neighborhood, your zip code, and then they would know, oh, you can't afford a $150,000 house. Let's approve you for a $350,000 house. And hopefully you go into default inside of 3 to 5 years from the time you get the house. So that way you go into default, we get the property back, we sell it to someone else, and you out there just fucked up for the rest of your life between that and student loan. So now they like, look, we play that game, we do that quite often. But this shit is different. They like, yo, we got too many people over here doing this because the investment bank and the commercial bank, that's like the person making the weight and the nigga that's on the block. So like Wells Fargo and Bank of America, what they are, they the commercial bank. Their job is to sell those dimes, get them 12 slims and make that shit look bigger than it really is and put it on the block. So what they do, they go around and they make sure they get somebody to owe them $300,000 for a house. They find somebody else to owe them $200,000 for a house. They find somebody else owe them $1 million for a house. And they collect all those debts. They consolidate it, create a promissory note, a bonded promissory note. Then they give it to the nigga that gave them the weight. Yo, here's your money. And then what happens is the commercial banks like Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and them, they can't afford to have the capital up front to wait for someone to pay for their 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So they consolidate all these people's debts and they turn it over to the investment bank. The investment bank probably give them 5-10% of all the debt money up front so they could do it again and get everybody else to accumulate. They got enough money up front to play this fucking game. And so all of that is a dub with this coronavirus because it's just way more they could play around with and manage. So what they're going to do is make it harder for people to get a property, making the 580 that was the standard low, turn the new standard low to a 640, where you damn near got to have a 700 credit score to get the shit a poor credit score used to give you. Because they know where these people going to pay us back that didn't pay for 6 fucking months. And then you got the stimulus check where people getting a little $1,200, a couple getting 24. That's a tax credit. So what that is, that's them giving you back your fucking money in the first place. You thinking they giving you money out of the sky, and they borrowing because they telling you they borrowing $1 trillion from the central bank. But that money that you got ain't part of that equation. That money is yo, listen, if you don't owe no back taxes, this is next year's tax money we giving you today. Or if you do, we'll let it subside, say thank you to us for the most part, we'll cut the difference. And then you know what's even more crazy, King? The brothers that got child support, they don't get access to no stimulus money. And baby mamas might be real happy about that, but you know what it'd been love? If they say, yo, you know what? If a nigga if he got child support arrears, at least send his $1,200 to his baby. Nah, they ain't doing that. That's how you know they full of shit. So, I believe we should have a child support system, but what I also believe is you should have a cap on how much fucking babies you can have with different daddies or fathers. It gotta be, it gotta be a cap. So that's how I know it's a target it's the target men. You gotta say, yo, ma, you maxed out. You got 3 baby daddies. We ain't giving you no more subsidies or no more concessions. They gotta be a max out.
I was telling somebody that the other day. I mean, I don't know how much it's now, but I'm a welfare baby. Like I had a motherfucking what they call that, a social worker and all that, nigga. Like you dig, like nigga, I know what those changes is like and shit like that. Like you dig, like it's this crazy. I don't see it going on no more and shit like that. But I remember days going to the welfare office with my moms and shit like that. Her going to get everything from food stamps to Medicaid, as much money as she could get twice as month and all that type of shit and shit like that. And the more kids you got, the more kids you got, the more money they give you, the more food stamps they give you.
Let's take it back. You ain't take the foodies and change them in to get real coins and shit. You
Man, everything. They got took tokens, food stamps, everything. Give you back real money at the corner store. What? I'm a
you
DJ,
already
man. I'm from that day, man. You heard it's a whole different way of moving nowadays. But I'm a real demon, nigga. I'm from that day for real.
word up. I
Used to
used to go
buy
to
food stamps from the
the store.
crackheads. Crackheads used to come buy crack with food stamps. Like I take a book of food stamps from a crackhead and give him like 3 nickels and shit like that. Tell him beat it, go cash them shits in, and be like
Yo,
$200 book of food stamps gets you like $160. It's fair trade.
son, you ain't never lie. I remember I was converting that shit to cash. And, and yo, that was always the secret relationship with Arabs and Chinese people and black people. We always found a way in the hood to find a way to make it work. You know what I'm saying? And they always look out for you. You know, I could go to the Arab spot. Either I was going to get my little 12 slims over the counter, or I was going to give you some foodies and exchange that. But either way, he had it. He had it for sale or exchange. You know what I'm saying? And we was good. We had a bartering system. The niggas don't know, like, surviving in the fucking hood is a story itself. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I also look at my children, and I tell them, like, you missed out on some critical times. And in many ways, some things are a lot more safer, so I'm happy about that. But then they deal with a different demon in this era that we ain't deal with. But at the same rate, like in my era growing up in Brooklyn, if you had a fly hat, somebody would want to take it off your head. You feel me? If you walk through the train car, there was niggas in between the train cars waiting.
Bro,
You know?
listen to me. Remember when the Oshkosh B'gosh train conductor hat came out
Facts.
with the
That shit was.
with the pinstripes on it? So I had the Oshkosh B'gosh hat on. True story. Walking through the train, I had to be about 10, 11. You know, this is how young we was moving on trains and going outside back then. So I'm like 11, nigga, like, shorty, let me see that hat for a second. I'm still naive and shit like that, even though I think I'm a badass, but I'm a baby. I'm a baby, literally a baby. He put his shit on, he put my shit on, like, thank you, shorty. Like, I learned my lessons as I experienced this life back in the day. From then on, I never let nobody ever take nothing, ask me for nothing ever. From 11, bro, that nigga just housed me. Like, go ahead, shorty, I beat
They,
you up on this train. I was like, damn, man, went home crying about my Oshkosh ass. Bro.
they gave me for my freestyle bike. Because the nigga just wanted to ride around the fucking corner. I had a Maniac Mongoose with the pegs. Because, you know, back in the day, niggas are standing on the back of the pegs, going everywhere they got to go. And I'm like, yo, I just leave my shit. Nah, shorty, why you acting like that? I'm not going to steal your bike, shorty. I'm not going to steal your bike. I start feeling bad and shit. The nigga put a mean psychological game on me and shit. I'm waiting till dark because my pops is going to tend to my fucking ass if I don't got this back. I only did that shit for 10 days. You know what I'm saying? That shit made me wicked in the hood, son. That shit made me wicked. And when it really went down, where I changed and started being on some other shit, is back in the days, that's when gold was selling. Like, you could go in the store and buy fucking gold and they weighed it with the penny weights and shit. So that's when we was getting the shit with the diamond cuts. So I had a Gucci link with diamond cuts and baguettes on the chain of the little pit bull or bulldog. I had a bulldog pendant with the baguettes going around, and I had diamond cuts going through the Gucci links. And I paid $550. That shit probably would have been worth $3,000 today. 4 or 5,000, matter of fact, because, you know, gold is up there now. We was playing with gold in our mouth and everything, going to layaway and buying shit. If we would have kept them fronts and all that shit, we'd be wealthy right now.
Crazy
So,
now.
yeah, you know, Easter time come, my grandmother, you know, niggas get money on Easter. So, you know, I'm waiting for Easter, and, you know, I'm always blowing my whole little 500, 1,000, 600, whatever grandma give me. She looking at me to come with mad bags. And I remember I used to have to tell my mans and them, let me see some of their bags so I could look like I bought a lot of shit. Because she ain't trying to hear I only bought a pair of sneakers or pants and a shirt. You know what I'm saying? With that little Easter money. So I had to come in front like I had a bunch of bags and to give my niggas back their shit. And so I put $550. I finally got to pay for the rest of my chain, my little bulldog chain. I'm walking in the 90s, I'm from the 9 house. So I'm going down Rutland Road, East 94th Street. Knicks game is done. I'm in the bar. I'm a young nigga. I'm like 12, 13 years old or something like that. I'm walking down there with my chain, and I'm like this. I see a nigga I see a shadow creeping up on me every time I turn around. It don't look like it's creeping up on me every time I turn back around. And this nigga closer to me. So I'm like, yo, what the fuck? So I'm walking. That nigga pulled up on me. Yo, shorty, run your shit. I'm there looking up like, yo, I just bought this. I just got this. This nigga got the hammer and everything on me. I'm like, that's how my tooth got chipped. He shoved the shit in my mouth, and I still couldn't give it up. I was in shock because I couldn't believe I'm getting robbed in a neighborhood that I live. This was a new nigga, and he was on a robbing spree. He's pulling the jug on everybody. And I'm just a young nigga thinking it's sweet because I live in a scary hood in Brooklyn. Who the fuck would get me? I'm with these niggas, but I'm a only 13-year-old nigga being stupid. After 12 midnight, because at this time, I ain't really had no parents and shit around, so I'm just out there, except for my grandmother, because my pops done left us by that time. And boom, he stole the chain, pulled it off of me. I went evil. The next time I saved up a bunch of money was to get my first ratchet. You know what I'm saying? I went evil. Crips came into the community because we had low lives, we had baby Deceps, Decepticons and shit. So we had baby Deceps, low lives. We had BMW. That was in the 50s. Once you go into the 50s, we had BMW.
Brooklyn always had some gang shit going on for years and years and years. If it wasn't one thing, it was another thing. If it wasn't this thing, it was another thing. It was the 90s, we got the 70s. Like, them niggas always kept it ganged up in Brooklyn, for real.
All these gangs, bro. In fact, it's like niggas think the Blood Crip thing introduced gangs. Nah, niggas just converted what we already had going on into that. Because shit was already going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because that fucking Decepticons, they was lit back then.
Yeah, I got a couple of those stories. I had to run one time with my cousin. I was telling somebody that the other day. My cousin went to LaGuardia, and across from Martin Luther King, right? That's King High School across from LaGuardia. And it's a bunch of Deceps in LaGuardia, and they thought, it was a bunch of